We just need to know who we're here to be.
Mm, so true. Like as people come into our program, as you know, like all consumed with all of the diet, food, and they're underneath that is just they've been made wrong their entire life. They've been create like all these doubts about who I am and what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. And then it's like mic drop once they get the reading with Kelsey, because then it's just like, okay, well, now, like you said, so much permission to be yourself.
Exactly. And one of the things I think human design is so helpful for is society loves to tell us that we're doing life wrong. And I am so not here for that. Let's knock it off completely. And I find human design to be such an amazing tool to be like, look at you, you're doing it right. And that other person is doing it right. And you are here to own and share your unique gifts. Don't mess around and try to use gifts that you do not have. That's just going to cause suffering. And then look at other people as they're using their gifts, which are totally different from your gift. And they're flowing in a way that is in total alignment for them and would be so out of alignment for you. Just celebrate the whole thing. And then I say, when we do that, when we own and share our gifts and celebrate other people as they're owning and sharing their gifts, we all fit together. And that's how we rise.
Food and weight obsession can be exhausting. Losing weight, gaining weight, dieting, feeling like a failure because you missed a workout, binged, overate, or gained all the weight back. The cycle is endless and it can be maddening. But I'm here to say you can stop the mental madness. You can take back control of your food behaviors, but you have to face your fears, you have to ask for help, and make a change. I am Leslie M. Thornton, permanent weight loss coach from hpwl.co. This is Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss, and I know you can make this happen. On this podcast, you will hear how to stop the mental madness, love your body, trust your food decisions so you can create a life of happiness, freedom, and inner peace. Hello, everyone. Leslie M. Thornton, Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss. Today, we are here with Kelsey Abbott. And man, is this podcast going to be a treat for you. Kelsey is, wow, just wait. She's just going to open her mouth and you're going to be like, blown away because her energy is amazing. And personally, every time I talk to you, I feel like extra confident and extra solid within myself. And just like, great, what's Kelsey up to today and how is she going to change her life just by looking at me with this amazing face she's looking at you with right now if you're here live. And I feel like I can say that's attributed to your area of expertise, human design, which Kelsey brings to our clients. Human design has changed my life, and I know for a fact that it changes our clients' lives as well, because not only do we focus on helping people get free from food, body, and weight, but one of the sources of that being possible is people coming to understand and know themselves better, authentically. And human design is a freaking awesome tool to help people see why they are the way they are, why their energy levels are the way they are, et cetera, et cetera. So they stop comparing, they stop making themselves wrong and bad, they stop trying to fit themselves into a box, but rather just like embrace all aspects of themselves. So thank you for the work that you do.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Thank you for that amazing intro.
Oh my God. I could keep going, but I won't, because that would make me look arrogant or something to hog the mic when you're the guest.
Bottle you up and just keep you in my pocket.
Oh my God. Hey, if I get your confidence rubbed off on me, I will sit in there all day, girl. Awesome. How did you get into human design, Kelsey Abbott? Would love to know.
Oh, well, it was served to me by the universe, as all things are. I host the Find Your Awesome podcast, and I started my podcast in 2017. And sometime, I think it was in 2018, I was speaking to a guest on my show, and I can't remember if this is recorded or when we weren't recording, but she said to me, "Have you ever heard of human design?" And I said, look, like anatomy. And I totally did the confused puppy dog head tilt. I was like anatomy. And she was like, no, you need to know your birth time. That didn't clarify anything for me. But I was like, I know what time I was born. So then I'm like off Googling human design. And I found something that pulled up my chart. And if you've ever seen a human design chart, that did not clarify anything for me either.
Not at all.
I was
It's the
like,
most confusing chart to look at. Uh-huh.
absolutely. So I kept like slowly Googling. This was not lighting me up at all. I was just like, what is this? I saw that I was a manifesting generator. So I was like, okay, what is that? Like, I didn't even know there were different energy types. I knew nothing. And then I finally read the phrase manifesting generators are warrior Buddhas. And I was like, oh, wait, that like resonated in my whole body.
That's
And
just like
that
mic
was,
drop. That's like, we should just
yeah,
redo the intro and be like, Kelsey Abbott's here, warrior Buddha.
exactly.
Yeah.
I felt so seen. So that was the breadcrumb I needed to go further and then go further and then go further. It was just like I just kept being given the one next step I needed. Like, you don't need to know the whole thing right now. You need to know this. You need to know this. You need to know this. Until finally I was signed up for training and learning all the things. And I'm constantly learning all the things. And I come from a scientific background. I have my master's in marine biology. Did that before I became a
Cool.
coach. Yeah, I studied killer whales. And
Love it.
so when I first discovered human design, I just took an experimental approach to it. I learned everything I could about my chart and was like, holy moly. Oh, I feel so much permission to be me. I felt so much permission. Like all the things people had said to me all my life, though, you're doing it wrong, Kelsey. I was like, oh, look, I wasn't. I'm allowed to do it that way. So it felt so good for me. So I started offering free mini readings, like 15-minute readings, just because I'm like, okay, amazing for me. Is it amazing for everyone else? And it was. So that's what was like the go ahead to like dive all in to this modality.
Wow. I love it. I can totally relate with like the hypnosis worked for me. And then it was like, well, let me just see if that same thing works for them. And then all of a sudden they're like, can you just do that again? Because I'm really free around food now. And I'm like, oh, this actually works for people besides me. So let's help some people with this amazing tool that we found today. Oh my God, that's
Exactly. And I had
fantastic.
one person after that 15-minute reading, he quit his job, started a new company, is absolutely thriving. Like, oh my goodness, we just need to know who we're here to be.
It's freaking fantastic. It's so true. Like as people come into our program, as you know, like all consumed with all of the diet, food, and they're underneath that is just they've been made wrong their entire life. They've been create like all these doubts about who I am and what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. And then and then it's like mic drop once they get the reading with Kelsey, because then it's just like, okay, well, now, like you said, so much permission to be yourself.
Exactly. And one of the things I think human design is so helpful for is society loves to tell us that we're doing life wrong. And I am so not here for that. Let's knock it off completely. And I find human design to be such an amazing tool to be like, look at you, you're doing it right. And that other person is doing it right. And you are here to own and share your unique gifts. Don't mess around and try to use gifts that you do not have. That's just going to cause suffering. And then look at other people as they're using their gifts, which are totally different from your gift. And they're flowing in a way that is in total alignment for them and would be so out of alignment for you. Just celebrate the whole thing. And then I say, when we do that, when we own and share our gifts and celebrate other people as they're owning and sharing their gifts, we all fit together. And that's how we rise, like puzzle pieces. Come on.
It's so awesome. Yes, I think it's such a good point to bring about how it affects relationships, to being able to not make your partner wrong or not make your mom wrong or not make whoever wrong. It's just like, oh, that's who they are and I can love and accept them, which again keeps yourself in your own lane. Focus on what you're doing, not getting, codependent or whatever things hold us back in life. As well as that confidence to just keep moving forward. All right, so let's get into it. Let's dive deeper. So like, what are the energy types for people who don't know human design? Maybe like we could define it. What are the types? And like, what are some of the like key points about each type?
Yeah. So there are 5 energy types: generators, projectors, manifestors, manifesting generators, and reflectors. And your energy type describes how you are designed to dance with energy. And this is just the tippy top of the human design iceberg. It goes so much deeper. But here are a few things. Projectors, like you, Leslie, projectors are here to guide the rest of us. And it's super important for you guys to see yourselves, because you are a guide, you are a lighthouse. You need to see yourself in order to light up your lighthouse. And then once that is lit, everyone can see you and everyone is going to come to you for guidance. They are going to invite you to guide them. And it is so important for projectors to be invited, because that means the person of the other energy type has cleared space to receive the projector's wisdom. If there's no invitation, it's not going to go well. It's not going to be received because we haven't like cleared the space. I made space in my garage for you to put that thing. It's the same thing. Made space in my energy to receive the projector wisdom. And then everyone feels good. The projector feels successful. The person who received the wisdom is totally blown away. If there's been no invitation, the person who receives the wisdom doesn't really receive it and feels it's a threat, feels like the projector is super bossy, and the projector feels all bitter because you had this amazing wisdom to share, and why didn't they take it?
Ugh, and I need to pause on that because yes, I'm biased because I'm a projector, but even just as we go through the other ones as well, it's like these are like lifelong challenges and struggles and battles, right? My sister's wife, I was reading her, I looked up her human design and she's a projector. So I started sharing with her some of these things. And I was like, so I'm a projector too. So I was like, so we see things about other people that they can't see for themselves very clearly. Like we know when they're going out of line, we know what they should be doing. And so we want more than anything to share it so that we can be that guiding light. But if we're not invited to offer that to someone and we just share it unwarrantedly, then we get pushback and then we're bitter. And she was like, that is my entire life battle. Right. And it's just like, again, the value of getting one human design reading, right? So if you're in HPWL Fast Track to Freedom, go to Accelerator to get it, or get a reading from Kelsey, right? It's like, can completely make it so that now you can focus on what you came to this planet to do on your own without all of these challenges getting in the way. So
yeah,
please
and the
continue.
simple words for projectors create an invitation. So try saying, can I share something? And then if the person says no, you do what you got to do. You walk away, you bite your tongue, you just breathe through it, but you do not share if they say no, thank you. And then if
I've gotten
yes,
into
obviously
so much trouble in my life. Like I had to learn that the hard way because I didn't have my human design reading, but my family did not like me for a while because I was saying all the things that wasn't invited. And then I was so bitter at them for not receiving it. But yes, obviously being a coach where people are definitely inviting me gives me my own compartment and it's all good now.
Yes. And that is such a good point too, because as a coach, these people have invited you.
Correct.
So you get to just guide totally in your zone of genius.
Yeah. Feels so enlivening. 100%. Awesome. Okay. So that's projectors.
Let's go to manifestors. I feel like I'm doing these so out of order and it's fun. So manifestors have the biggest energy. In other words, if you are a manifestor, you cannot sneak into a room. Everyone is going to turn to look at you. They just feel your energy there. So manifestors are designed to own their power. They are so powerful. They have to own it. They have to take up space and do what they want. They're here to create an energetic movement. And some people will come with them on that movement. Some people will not. And that's okay. Those aren't your people. So for a manifestor, most important thing to remember, well, actually, I think the most important thing to remember is to own your power. The second most important thing to do is to inform. In other words, tell people what you're going to do and the people who are going to be energetically impacted by it. So the people you live with, tell them, you're going to the bathroom. Tell them you're going outside. Tell them you're setting the table. I know it sounds so silly, but manifestors just have a habit of just walking away. And it feels really annoying to a manifestor to have to tell people what they're doing, but it eases the energetic flow so much. And that little informing tip, it's true for manifesting generators as well.
Wow. So for those people in our program, Lisa, who is world famous around here, is a manifester. And I met her for the first time like a year and a half after us starting to work together. And damn, that was my first, is like, I knew she was there. It was way more powerful in person than it was over the screen. It was like, oh my God, like you really can feel this girl's energy. And people definitely knew she was there. And literally, hypnosis for permanent weight loss would not be what it is today because she has created this energetic movement. I've been able to do my job over here, but like, this is her, like, wow, it's amazing to watch that girl go. And it's a small percentage of people who are manifestors. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about like 8%.
Okay. And projectors how many?
Are like 20%. You'll notice the percentages don't totally add up, but okay. We'll say like projectors are about 20%, reflectors are about like 2%, generators are like 30%, and MGs are like 25%. So go ahead, check the math. It's most likely not going to add up to 100%. I don't care.
We got it. Our bodies understand what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So let's bounce over to reflectors. Reflectors, only 2% of the population. Every reflector looks different. Reflectors don't have any of their own energy in the energy centers, which means they feel and amplify other people's energy, which means if you want to feel really good about yourself, go have a conversation with a reflector and they're just going to bounce your goodness right back to you. And it feels amazing. And then that reflector will be a totally different person when they're talking to somebody else. Reflectors are designed to be like the oracles in our society. They're designed to be at the center of the tribe. We go to the reflector to be like, what do we need to know? They're very impacted by their environment. So they are the ones that tell us like, things aren't going so well, guys. We need to change some stuff. So we got to look to our reflectors to guide us and take care of our reflectors. They are so exposed to all of our energy. Give them time, give them space. I feel like it's like feed the reflectors, take care of them. They are this disco ball of magic and they're completely different than all other humans on this planet.
They deserve a lot of that. So I couldn't believe it. It was only a couple months ago, I did all the human design readings for all of my family. And my sister's boyfriend is like this extraordinary, like, it's just like, everyone's like, what the hell? Like, this guy's amazing. Like, you can't put, it's like, how is anyone gonna, like, I have 3 sisters total. It's like, how are we ever gonna find someone as good as this? You know what I mean? So then I go and I do the human design and it's like, what, 3% you said, or something, are reflectors, or very tiny percentage. And he's a reflector. And I'm like, oh my God, like now it makes sense. But this guy's amazing. He's just like, yeah. And yes.
Yeah. So reflectors need to own the fact that they are super fluid. They are a different person every day and even every minute because they are so connected with the moon. So wherever the moon is, whichever gate that's in, that completely changes their design. So a reflector could be an MG one day. They could be a generator. They could be a projector. They could be a manifestor. And they're going to feel totally different and they just get to experience it.
Wow.
Let themselves flow.
I hope I get to meet a lot more of them because I like them.
They are amazing. And yeah, they're not designed to put themselves in a box ever. Water doesn't fit in a box. Reflectors don't fit in boxes either. And neither do manifesting generators. So perhaps we should go on to us.
Let's do it.
Let's do generators first.
Okay.
Because MGs are a hybrid of generators and manifestors. So generators are here to follow what lights them up. And when they were little kids, they were born knowing they were here to lift people up. And they got celebrated for doing things they didn't really want to do, like setting the table or giving away their favorite toy or going to some party that they didn't want to go to. And so they get the message, oh, I'm here to sacrifice myself. And that makes people happy. And so they grow up to be people pleasers. But here's the thing, generators, you are here to be super sparkly. You get sparkly by following your desires. So the universe is going to serve things to you like the universe served me, human design. If it lights you up, you follow it. You keep following step by step. You're not designed to have any idea where you're going. You keep following that. You're here to be lit up. When you are lit up, you become sparkly, you become magnetic, you become irresistible, and people want to be in your energy. They don't care what you're saying. They don't care what you're doing. They're just like, I want that. I want to be surrounded by that. So whenever you find yourself as a generator, you find yourself people pleasing. Yeah, that's like giving someone a parking spot. It's kind, but you're here to elevate the world. When you follow your desires, you get super, super sparkly and you lift the entire world up. That, please do that for us.
Powerful. Yeah, I can think of several generators where they are like give, sacrifice, 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 and then bitter if they're not right, giving from that authentic space.
Yeah,
is that a thing?
Actually, frustration is their red flag that they're out of alignment.
Yep, I've seen it happen. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And then
in the middle, manifesting generators. We're hybrids of generators and manifestors, and we are here to play. We are here to bounce from thing to thing to thing to thing. We're here to be multi-passionate. All of the energy types can be multi-passionate, but MGs must be multi-passionate to be healthy. We are not here for boxes. We are not here for labels. We're here to do things that other people say is impossible and to do them with so much joy and play and show other people like, come on, you can do it too. We are also here to be super sparkly like generators and to own our power like manifestors. So we're here to be excited about things. We are here to do what lights us up. And we need to remember to tell people what we're doing when they live with us, essentially.
Amazing. Yeah. And I think the next thought that I had was around like energy levels, right? And probably the biggest, most powerful thing that I learned about being a projector was the first thing she said was like, oh, you can't work more than 10 hours a week. Like you really need to not work a lot at all. And it was like, can you tell me more about that, please? Because every time, right, I worked as a nurse doing 3 12-hour shifts a week or, whatever, and it was always like, I just was comparing of like, why don't I have as much energy as my mom? Or why don't I have as much energy as all these other nurses that are just like buzzing around all day? It's like, as a kid, I just wanted to like sit in our TV room and watch movies all day. And like, my mom, not knowing human design, is like, you're lazy or, get off the couch, or don't you want to go and do all these things? And it was like, no. Right. So what about the energy levels? Because especially when it comes to weight loss, right? It's like, how do these types make a difference in that arena?
Yeah. So generators and MGs have a sacral center. That sacral center is what responds to desire, and it responds with yes or no. Either like, yes, holy hell yes, oh my goodness, I want to do that, or it's a nothing, or it's ew, no. Like, and there's usually like or for me, it'll just, and if you allow yourself, it'll just come out of your mouth. Like, do you want to do that? Nope. Because that has happened many times to me, and I no longer feel bad about it. I'm like, that truth, I don't want to do it. Manifestors, reflectors, projectors do not have a sacral center. And that means a bunch of things. It means, first of all, they don't know when enough is enough. So that can mean they don't know when enough food is enough. They don't know when enough alcohol is enough. They don't know when enough TV watching is enough. They don't know when enough work is enough. They don't know when enough, like, what's coming through is spray painting is enough. I heard a story once of a projector who was homesick with a stomach bug, and she called in to a work meeting and from home, from the bathroom floor, and she was throwing up during the meeting. So she just muted herself. So generators and MGs are like, what? No, you just don't go to the meeting. But MG
I
or
would. I'm a
manifestors,
projector.
yeah.
I would do it too. I'm
Yeah.
weird like that too. Because it's like,
It's
and is that because projectors have a thing where we always finish what we start, right? Like we're very
not necessarily. That's in a
okay.
different part of your chart.
Okay.
Yeah, that's people with gate 42 are all here to finish. The rest of us, yeah, not so
Okay.
much.
Which has helped me because I've fallen into traps of judging friends that are a little non-committal to what they're doing or they move around. So it's definitely improved my friendships when I'm like, oh, well, it makes sense that you're bouncing around, because I'm like, I'm going to follow this all the way to the end.
Yeah, so that's somewhere else in your chart. So the other piece of the sacral center is it's an engine, and it's chug-a-lugging all day, every day. Projectors, manifestors, reflectors do not have that engine. So a couple things happen, a bunch of things. First, when you are as a projector, manifestor, reflector, when you are with a generator or MG, which is we make up like 60% of the population. So you're probably with a sacral being in your daily life. You are going to amplify their desires. So if you're out to dinner as a non-sacral being, projector, reflector, manifestor, order first. Look at the menu ahead of time, actually decide what you want, write it down, commit to it, and then you order first. If you don't, you're likely to be like, oh, I'll have what they're having. And then it comes and you're like, oh, that's not what I want. Okay, so that's one piece. Another piece is you're going to amplify someone else's desires. So you're talking to friends. They're like, I want to go to Tahiti so badly. And you're like, oh my God, I want to go to Tahiti the most. And then you get back in your own energy and you're like, I don't want to go to Tahiti. The other thing is that engine is going all the time. So you're amplifying the energy. If you're on a treadmill next to a generator or an MG, you're going to have the most energy, and then you're going to go home and collapse. Whereas that generator or MG is going to go home and probably do another workout and another workout. And like, they'll be bouncing all over the place because they've got an all day battery. As a non-sacral being, you don't have that. And you have a very high risk of burnout when you try and force yourself to keep up with those people. And then to bring it back to your original question about projectors, Leslie, for projectors, work is guiding people. So you really don't want to guide people more than like 2 hours a day. The majority of your time as a projector should be spent honing your wisdom. That means like listening to things, reading things, taking in information, meditating, whatever it is, taking energy in. And then like 2 hours a day max guiding people. And that's because that is so energetically expensive for you, because you go so deep so fast. You have this amazing penetrating energy. And then you need to refuel and empty out from other people's energy.
Yep. Speaking my language. Yeah. Okay. So some people are sacral and then they can really have a visceral thing and they can keep going. They got a battery that runs all day. And then projectors, and who else are not that?
Manifestors and reflectors.
And manifestors and reflectors. They need to suck in. So do they suck in also? Or how much can they work? Reflectors and manifestors.
Oh, reflectors. Well, like I said, every reflector is different. So it depends on where the reflector is. They just really need to feel into their own beingness, which is going to be different all the time. Manifestors will have these creative bursts, and they're supposed to follow that burst. And then when the burst ends, nap. I know this painter who is a manifestor, and her all day, every day schedule is like paint, 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 nap, paint, paint, nap. It's like a constant cycle. And that is how she creates all these great works. And your creative cycle could be like minutes, hours, days, weeks, and then in between you rest until you get the next urge. And every time a manifestor or a manifesting generator gets an urge, that is the universe being like, tap, 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 do this right now. And it is like walking down the street and you see swings and you have to get on those swings. There is no reason to an urge. You just got to do it. So manifestors need to follow that urge until the urge ends, and you'll know when it ends. and then you rest until the next urge comes.
Does the urge, can it also apply to food?
That's a really good question. Yeah, absolutely. So
I would
that urge
imagine
is
so.
like, go eat.
And then go until it's done,
Mm-hmm.
which can also like normalize the like binging so that because we work on like if you make it bad and wrong that you're doing it, then you're going to want to do it 10 times more. So if you own the fact that like, oh, this is how I work, can do it till it's complete and then just leave it. And it's probably not that big of a deal. It's just who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're taught that we're supposed to eat 3 meals a day, which is kind of hilarious to me. My husband recently said, I forget who he's telling this to, but he was like, well, Kelsey eats like 6 meals a day. I'm like, oh, I guess I do. Yeah, at least. And that's normal for me. Break out of the like, this is how we do it. Like, who was the first person who decided 3 meals a day? Why did they get to make the rules? Your body is actually going to tell you when it wants food and when it doesn't.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yep. I remember you told me how, just eating little bits through the day. And it was
Yeah,
just like so
projectors are
liberating.
grazers. You
Mm-hmm.
guys are like, reach in the cracker box, take out 4 crackers. Okay, that's enough of that. And then I'll have a carrot. And then 10 minutes later, I'm going to have an apple or like whatever it is. But you're an all day, tend to eat fairly lightly,
Mm-hmm.
like all day. And so if you have a kid who's a projector, the best way you can feed them is like give them an assortment of food. And they're probably just going to like pick at a bunch of different things. Like their lunchbox might have like 10 different compartments, whereas the other kids are getting like one sandwich and like one apple or whatever. Your projector kid's getting like all these little fun things to experiment with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like literally I'll be like soup and a few crackers, and then I'll be like, come back and like have hummus with some carrots. And I do notice, since you've also told me this, I think you were the only one who told me this, of that if I eat too much, then I feel the bitterness. Like I feel
Yes.
I'm like up, I'm like angry. I don't feel good at all. Like not normal. Like I feel like anyway, it just totally resonated with me when you were saying
Yeah.
about that.
It's for projectors if you eat too much or too little, which for me as an MG, I'm like, oh, how do you hit that perfection point? But you know what? Your body's going to guide you. So you just
Mm-hmm.
keep listening to your body. When it says feed me, you feed it. And when it says nah, you listen.
Ugh, if only it could be that easy. It can be that easy.
It
That's
can
what
be
we're
that
working
easy.
on. It's like
It
by
can be
understanding
that easy.
yourself, yep, stripping away all the what mom said or what people say or society. It's like your body actually does know what it wants and how much and how everything.
Yeah. And then
Fantastic.
on a like similar note, manifesting generators need the most calories of any type. But then there are other places in our chart, like a manifesting generator with a defined root and an active brain, me, needs the most calories of any type. And if you don't give yourself the calories that you need, then that's going to lead to weight gain, most likely, because your body thinks it's starving.
Mm, yep. So like diet mentality specifically would say like decrease, decrease, decrease. But since you guys need the most, then you might way overdo it because you're not eating enough during the day.
Exactly.
It's fascinating. I'm sure everyone's
Mm-hmm.
like, how do I find out what I am so that I can get past the food body weight stuff?
Join
That's
accelerator.
awesome. Yeah, join the accelerator program 100%. You get Kelsey one full reading on her own and every other Thursday. So that's pretty exciting. Um, I wanted to ask something else that was deeper. How does this play being you like eat, breathe, live, and drink human design with your marriage specifically? How does that play out for you?
So my husband, I'm a 4/6 emotional manifesting generator. My husband is a 2/4 emotional manifesting generator. Our dog is also an emotional manifesting generator. We have a lot of energy in this house. And side note, our previous dog was a 1/3 projector, and the difference is astounding. He really didn't know when enough was enough. Zumi, our puppy, does. He rests. Makai did not as a puppy. Okay, so my husband and I both have emotional waves, because let me explain this. In human design, you either have your own emotions or you feel and amplify other people's emotions. and we go much deeper in this in Accelerator. But so Pete and I both have different emotional waves. They show up very differently. And being able to understand that and understand that his emotional wave often leads to my emotional wave. So it's almost like, and I'm just having the clarity on this right this second. Emotional waves, there's one type of emotional wave. There are 4 different emotional wave types. There's one type that's predictable. You can track it and kind of predict when it's going to happen. The rest kind of come out of the blue. And it feels so inconvenient. Like, oh, I wanted to do all the things today, but this is not the day for me to put myself out in the world. It's not the day for me to create. I am not my sparkliest self right now. So it feels so inconvenient. And yet almost every time my husband has an emotional wave, the next day I have one. And I try to like defend myself from it sometimes. And it kind of works and kind of doesn't. And I will move my body, and I've got it so that most of the time they last less than 24 hours for me. But an emotional wave is a gift that says, not now. Shh, sweetie, just sit on the couch for a day, which is so annoying. But the clarity the next day is amazing. So knowing our human design, knowing our emotional waves, game changer. Knowing both of us, we have a lot of energy. We both have 7 defined centers, 2 open centers, and the open centers are different. So knowing like, oh, like I have an open head, and so I feel his thoughts. And so knowing sometimes I'm like, oh, wait, that was your thought. That wasn't mine. All of that, knowing he's got an open root. So the root center is one that I mentioned a little bit earlier. When you have a defined root, yet you need to move your body. You have a lot of momentum. You have a lot of starting energy. You're an instigator. When you have an open root, you have what I lovingly call a Velcro butt, meaning you put your butt down, and when you try to get up, which is like, no, thank you. It's like this sound, you can hear the Velcro tearing, like it's like, so that's very different energy. Also, people with an open root are going to feel pressure to do all the things and do them right now. And the pressure people with an open head feel is very different. So noticing and dancing with the different ways we feel pressure. And anytime as humans, we feel pressure, it's not real. So being able to be like, oh, okay, I'm feeling, for me, crown pressure. I know this isn't real. What do I need to hear? And for anyone else who needs to hear this, what I need to hear is take your time. Take your time. For the open root, we haven't quite figured out the right wording for that yet. It's basically like chill, just chill, be calm. But when somebody's feeling all the root energy, that's not what they want to receive.
Interesting. Got it. So can totally make it so that you have more clarity on where your partner's coming from, what's his, what's yours, accept him, probably also be able to support him better too.
Absolutely. And see the magic that we create together, because we have some channels that we complete for each other. So when we're together, oh my God, we're amazing storytellers, and being able to see that click into place and see, like, I'll recommend, oh my God, you got to listen to this little bit of a podcast. And he'll be like, okay, cool. Won't do it until I'm with him. So until that channel is completed for him, then he's like, okay, now I can hear it.
Interesting. Wow. And then you mentioned in the beginning about someone getting their human design reading and then they left their job and their life is amazing now. I'm sure you have a million like huge aha moments. It must be so exciting on the other end of your calls with people. Are there other ones you can think of like huge aha moments for clients that you'd be willing to share?
Oh, the emotional one is often a big one, to recognize, oh, those aren't my emotions. And I can't actually help people. I can't process them for people. I've been trying to go to therapy for years, trying to change the thoughts around these emotions, but they're emotions and not feelings. So there's no thought associated with them.
Wow.
That's a common big epiphany.
So then it helps them if they're no longer searching for what thought is causing the emotion, they can just be with the emotion now because
They can be
that's
with
what
it
they're
and they
recognizing
can release it because it's not
and
even
release it.
theirs.
Oh, it's not even theirs.
We all have our own
they're
feelings.
taking on.
Yeah. But they're just when they're out in the world, they just pick up all the emotions of everyone around them.
And is that when you're an emotional authority?
That's the opposite of being an emotional authority. So if you have an
Okay.
open emotional center, you are picking up everybody else's emotions. If you have emotional authority, you don't feel other people's emotions. And for the people who have emotional authority who are like, but I feel other people's emotions, you feel it somewhere else. Like maybe you feel other people's feelings, which is what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that I don't have an emotional authority. What am I?
So you're open emotional, you're splenic authority.
Splenic authority. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? It's just
it means that your intuition is always going to tell you where to go, and your intuition speaks in the moment. So don't try and know what you're going to do tomorrow when you get to that meeting. No, when you walk in the door, your intuition is going to tell you exactly what to do.
One of the biggest breakthroughs you caused for me, we were on a meeting not that long ago with the HPWL team, and I was trying to strategize something. You're like, you are not designed to strategize. So you should just sit back. Like you're designed to just do the damn thing. Let someone who knows how to strategize do the thing. So I was like, so helpful because I would make myself wrong of being like, these PowerPoints suck. Like I just like blank out when it comes to that stuff. And instead of again, being like, why can't I, or this means I'm failing. It's just like, Kelsey's there with just this is not your thing. This is why you have a team. Let them do it. It's like, oh my God, thank you for that. Just emerged like a butterfly with one of Kelsey's magic wand moments. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And that's one that I feel like particularly like big about, because that was something I was bullied by business coaches being like, Kelsey, be more specific, be strategic. And I was like, I got nothing. Like literally there's nothing there. I don't understand what to do. If you tell me what to do, I'll do it. But I don't have like that section of my brain is missing. No, not brain, but literally I'm not made to be strategic or specific. Okay, cool. I can work with people who are, and they can do all of that stuff for me.
It's so relieving. And talk about like stress, and anxiety about that. And then we're talking about like, this is when people are usually triggered to eat food or have alcohol or whatever, numb out. It's like, what if you just talk to Kelsey and realize that's not your lane? Hire somebody else to do that lane and don't try to force yourself. Yeah. Even doing like Facebook ads and stuff. It's just like, it's like, it's just blank. Like
it's even I'll have people be like, so how are you going to price that program? What number comes up for you? And I'm like, no numbers come up for me. Like that just doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. But my intuition will be on and it'll be like, I'll say something and it feels right. And they'll be like, how'd you come up with that? I'm like, it just was there. I don't know.
Exactly. I'm the same way. I don't know where things come from. And that's true for all of us. Like 99% of us are designed to do life from our bodies. Our wisdom lives in our bodies. All of our decisions are meant to be made from our bodies. Our heads are just for decoration.
That is a wonderful idea. And everyone's living 95% of the time in their heads, which is why we're supporting you to get in your body. Because
this is why we do what we do, because school teaches you things that maybe aren't as useful when you get out in the world. We teach you how to live and be yourself.
So grateful that we're expanding as human beings to understand these other aspects so we can be better parents and better aware of our differences and hopefully get along better and all the things. So thanks for waving that flag with me in your own unique way. So grateful that you're part of this team. If you are in our programs, yes, Accelerator is the way to get to Kelsey. There's a module for you guys with Kelsey in it. If people from the podcast are listening and they're interested in finding you, Kelsey, how can they do that?
They can go to my website, kelseyabbott.com, and then check out my podcast, which is the Find Your Awesome podcast.
Find Your Awesome podcast. I've been on it. It was so fun.
That was
You
a
did
while
a
back.
great
We should do it
interview.
again.
I would love to. I feel like we could do more.
Yeah.
Awesome, Kelsey. Thank you so much for being here. If you're ready to get a little more awareness of who you are and where all of your stuff is coming from on a way deeper level than just what everybody else is saying and what your mom's been saying since you were young, or your dad, then you know where to find us. Follow the prompts after this podcast, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
If you are serious about taking action on your struggle with food, body, and weight, then this is for you. Go ahead and text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232-5483. Immediately after texting that number, you will get access to our free training that will tell you why you can't figure the food, body, and weight thing out, why you can't keep weight off even after you've been successful in the past, and how to actually overcome it, including a mini hypnosis session at the end. Don't miss out. Text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232-5483.